Hey, good morning. So Brad and I were talking last night about his YouTube video. I was very pumped that he's actually using Excel now, and we've been talking about that together. And if you've seen some of my videos, you know that. So I sat down and made a video that kind of made his Excel spreadsheet a little better. Better is a weird word, but anyway, a little more dynamic, a little maybe easier to use, maybe a little better to use. And so I talked to him and see if he thought it'd be a good idea to put this one up. And so, anyway, I'm going to do that today. I guess kind of the cool thing I think about this whole scenario is we're going to become neighbors in that regard. So, if you have any questions, you want to see some of these done for yourself, you can contact me, and we'll talk about putting together one for you as well. So, without further ado, here we go.
Well, I got a couple of things I should be doing tonight, but I don't feel like it, so I need a little time to myself. So I said I'm going to help you out the video a little bit. So all I'm going to do on this one is just make this one a little fancier / easier to change. What I'll do in the next couple of days is I'll do a couple of different variations of this one. So this one is basically doing yours, but allowing you to change things on the fly. So here I put 35 acres. Here I put the seed, the number of seed bags. So you just said it was 1 1/4 times the acres. So if you change the acres, this will automatically update right here. The cost of the seed changes. All you do is change this, for instance, to $60. Boom, this updates. Okay. The cool thing about doing it this way is that in a minute, when we get all done, I'm gonna have a total down here at the bottom, just like you did. But anytime you change any one of these numbers, this thing automatically updates, as will the cost per acre. Okay. That's what's beautiful about doing all the math in Excel, because then you can go back and change this, that, and the other thing. Now, it's $12 per pass. The number of times you sprayed is once. You said in the video sometimes you sprayed more than one time. Well, if you did, then you could come in here and maybe you said you doped it harder. Maybe you dope it less and go $10 per pass, but hit it twice. Okay? So anytime you change any of these numbers, this one or this one, any of them, it's going to affect this total right here. The fuel use per acre is 3/4 of a gallon. Fuel cost $221.9, which it rounded up for me. Because I made it into dollar signs. But whatever. So it'll give you the same basic number as you had. It actually is the same value. You can see up here, it just rounds it off to what it shows. Is that. Okay? Anyway, so the next one then you had, and I'll shrink this back down so we can see what we're doing here, is the harvesting cost. And so what I'm doing here is I'm just coming in here and harvest cost. Okay, so what I did is I clicked on this guy right here, and I formatted it, align them all to the right for the sub things, and then the totals, I'm going to have them kicked back to the left so they stand out a little bit more. And so this one here is, you could do it, again, cost per acre, because I would kind of keep with the theme that I've been doing. But you don't have to, whatever. And this is a situation where it's pretty much a straight up, you're not fooling with that anymore, so, if it's not changing, then we'll just leave it the way it is. Boom. And then here on here, I would just do total harvest cost. Okay, and again, it did that to me. So come click on the left margin, click on bold, and then here it's exactly the same calculation you did. It's 32 times this 35 up here. So now, if you change the amount of acres that you're doing or the cost per acre, that also will fill in. So let's see what else we got here.
$58. King. The guy that...
Did I get 1120? Yes, I did. Good for me. Oh, and then also bold that so it looks dumb otherwise.
that trucks around here
So
gets 18 cents a bushel.
It's 18 cents a bushel times.
So let's say 35 times 0.18. So let's say 35. Let's say he gets 45 bushels.
All right. So then over here, we need to have, for this next part, we're going to have, for trucking costs. Now, this is where I'm guessing, so I want to do it a couple of ways. So what I want to do is up here, I want to put in a projected yield. So projected, it'd help if you could spell, stupid, yield. This is more fun than what I should be doing, so good enough. And you can put it here, you can put it here, you can put wherever you like. But let's say 45 bushel, okay? Because that's going to affect our bottom line as well in terms of how much money we actually bring in, right? So if you're going to do that, then well, I can come up here and I can change this yield and I can have it screw that. Well, what if I make it 50 bushel? What if I make it 30 bushel? And then the guy could do a lot of what ifs like that. I'm also going to make another video where I use that what if analysis scenario manager to follow up on that in a fancier way. So this is the less fancy way. Not a bad way, just, you know, just a less fancy way of doing it. So what we want to do here is trucking costs, and I'm probably just going to do just total trucking cost, I guess. Since you know that it's only 18 cents a bushel, then I'm probably not going to mess with this one. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to click on it. I'm going to kick it back over. I'm going to do that, and I'm just going to go equals. So it's 35 times the yield times the 18 cents. Now, again, if it's a deal where he ever changes that price and you think it might vary, you could put it. Oh, shut up and leave me alone, you hippie. Why didn't it do? I don't know. It doesn't matter. What you could do is you could then have it. You could have an updated cost per mile somewhere on this, or not per mile, but per bushel, and you could have it update that as well. All right, we'll see what else you got going here.
Bushel the acre is 1,575
So then you've got
bushel.
the total input. The revenue comes next, yes? So then I'll probably skip a line or two. So let's do total expenses or something. Expenses. If I can spell it would be nice. And so click on that, and then simply come up here and grab this auto sum button. And what you do is just click and highlight the numbers that you want to add. So his total expenses are $43.31.75. Now it's possible that you might want to, and I think I will, make that a slightly bigger font there so that it stands out. That's my total expenses. Now let's talk total revenues then. Okay, oops, revenued, that's weird. Total revenue, how am I going to pull that off? Well, exactly what you said. And, I mean, you know what it is as well as I do. So I'm going to kick this up to 16. That's too much. Voila. And then, so obviously this is just what? It's that times that times. Now I could type in 9, but you know I have a better idea. Let's do this. Let's do projected, not yield, dummy. Projected price, or budgeted price, or whatever you want to call it. And it doesn't really matter. It just is what it is. $9, let's say. So let's go equals this guy times this guy times this guy. Okay. And the cool, easy way to do is this. Hey, look. What if I got $8 beans? Oh, everything updated. Did you see these guys? None of this stuff changed because it doesn't depend on the beans, the cost of the beans. However, if you change this to 30 bushel, everybody changes. Do you see both of them changed? So that's going to be, oh shoot, what did I have that at? 45? Yeah, 45 bushel acre. Sweet. All right, see what you got cooking.
Times 0.18, $1,000.
Right, so 43.32. 43.32. One of us is off here, pal. Alright, let's see what we got going on here. One of us can't run a calculator. Oh, okay. 24.50, 420, 58 and a quarter. Interesting. I wonder if that is because that is in $ mode. It probably is because it's in $ mode. Let's get that out of that and put it back to numbers. I don't trust this. One of us is wrong, dude. So, you said 0.75 times 35 times 2.219. Yeah. I think one of us is wrong there, dude. I think it might be you. But that's okay. You get the picture. Okay? So then, what I want down here is then my profit, right? Anyway, regardless of whether you make a mistake once or, you know what I'm saying, you can make a zillion mistakes. The best thing about Excel, well, there's so many things about Excel that are awesome as far as I'm concerned. But one of the best things about Excel is that when I get this stuff done, I know the computer didn't screw up in the additions. It doesn't. The only thing I could have done is I could have typed something in funny, wrong, weird, whatever. But it can't make mistakes. It's not possible for it to make mistakes. So I know it doesn't like because I sausage fingered and hit 2.22 instead of 2.21. You know what I'm saying? So I feel pretty good about our math this way. So that's the total profit. And if you want to do profit per acre or something like this, per acre, then of course it's just equals. Click on this guy divided by 35. Boom. And there's your 281 that you were talking about. And then you could highlight it. Maybe you want to make this a little bigger, and then maybe you go, boom, hey, that's it. Let's highlight that so it stands out. Yeah. But again, everything on this deal will change as I change the amount of acres, the yield, the price here, the seed, the cost of seed, the cost of Roundup, and the number of times I go over it. All that stuff will just continually add up as we go along. All right, so let's take a look at the cows situation. Oh, one more thing I would say, I would just throw my 2 bits worth in. The other thing I think you missed is he really going to no-till straight into sod? Because he's got to figure out the cost to work this up the first time as well, okay? Unless he's going to just start his no-till and sod.
No, I'm going to go numbers that he gets. Fuel to move the calves.
That's just my 2 bits anyways.
And he hauls water out to them. And during the summer, he said he only uses pellets to get them started, then they're strictly grass all summer, and they are on.
So over here on the cows, let's talk about this. So again, 35 acres here. I could put it there. I'm just going to get rid of that. That looks stupid, so I'm just going to get rid of that. I'll just refer back to the 35 acres that's over here when I'm all done. Okay, so let's talk about the calves. Purchase price, or whatever you want to call that first one. I mean, you can call it whatever you want. It's your thing. So, but I think I would do like per head, so that then I could change it up to my heart's content, right? So I could go nuts on this thing. So the price that we're quoting here is $150 a head, which is whatever it is, what it is, all right? And so then the total purchase price, oopsie daisy, and then click here and drag that out wider. Again, I would want to justify this to the right, see, and then leave this one justified to the left. And then how many cows? I forgot how many cows.
Basically, a legume dollars per calf. The purchase of the calf, plus he was feeding them some pellets at first until they got going. He figured between buying the calf and the X amount of pellets per calf, he had just under $150 per calf up front. So we're going to say $150 per calf. And he is putting 80 calves on.
So 150 times 80. So here's where I would come up here somewhere and I would say, all right, number of head. And so now, because everything basically going to be based on the number of head of cows, so then the total purchase price is going to be equal to the purchase price per head, times, and I'll put it over there in in a second. But and actually put in 80 steers, right, or whatever. There you go. And again, I would continue this idea of let's bold the subtitles or the subtotals
on this 35 acres. So fuel to move the calves, and he hauls water out to them. And
just a good
during the summer, he said he only uses pellets to get them started, then they're strictly grass all summer, and they are on basically a legume and grain to these after this bag of the electricity for the fencing and that type of stuff. So we're going to put $1,000 in there. Actually, I'm going to go back up and I'm going to put $1,500 in there just in case there's something he forgot.
Okay. So in this situation, you can put just extras or whatever. You can put all kinds of stuff there. You can break it out in a number of ways you want to. But again, it might be kind of cool to do something like, miscellaneous or whatever. But again, per head. Because, as you said, it's going to change based on the number of head of cattle he has, right? And so, what did you say the total was? 1,500, right? So I'll get out my calculator, equals 1,500 divided by 80 head. So 1,875 a head for all of this messing around, right? So I'm going to put 1,875 right here. Oops, there we go. Again, just make that into a $sign right there. And then I'm going to make the total miscellaneous per head, or whatever you want to call it. I mean, you can name that however you like, but you know, but the idea here being is that the better way to do that would be to say, all right, but what if I don't have as many head? What if I have fewer head? Now, it's possible that, you know, some of that stuff is going to stay pretty much the same. So like you say, running around, farting around, moving the fence, all that sort of thing is going to change. So you might not want to do that one, but you know, a lot of times with cattle, you want to figure it out per head versus, you know, versus for soybeans or corn or wheat or whatever, it's more like per acre kind of
Got
deal.
about, or is missing or whatever, and then the truck times.
All right, so then the trucking cost, again, you get per head. So trucking costs, cost per head, this should just be total miscellaneous, what that should say, sorry. Anyway, total trucking cost per head, so $5. I don't know how far he's trucking them. If he's not trucking them too far, I'll come truck them for $400. Total trucking cost. Getting my truck there would cost a lot, but it would be fun, I guess. And again, that will change, of course. Boom. That'll change, of course, as you change the amount of head, okay? So that automatically will update. And that's the cool thing about that. There's so many things that depend on the heads of cattle that if you change the amount of head of cattle, you have to go back and catch every time you use that. It's a pain.
Times 0.8 is $32,000.
Whoa.
100 per. And he sells them right around 500 pounds. He said sometimes they're up to 550, but figure 500 per calf. So we're going to take 500 pounds times 80 calves times 0.8 is $32,000. Calves is 90 cents a pound. And he sells them right around 500 pounds. He said sometimes take 5 times 80 is 400. And in a large group, the guy charges it off. Now, going by the market prices, right now, feeder calves at our local sale barn for dairy cross calves, or dairy calves, is 90 cents a pound. And he sells them right around 500 pounds. He said sometimes they're up to 550, but figure 500 per calf. So we're going to take 500 pounds times 80 calves times 0.8 is $32,000 is what?
Alright, so I'm back. So again, I put price per head, so that can vary. You can change that. And I put the weight when sold. You can put it here. You can put it wherever you like to put it. It doesn't make any difference to me. So there's your 32 grand you talked about. And then if you want to talk about that commission business from the sale yard, you said you wanted to subtract $1,500 or something, I think, right? Oh, I forgot.
Times 80 is $2,000 plus our $1,500. It's $3,500 for those costs. Then I'm going to add that to his purchase price of the calves, which is $15,500. Not $100.
Okay, back up the train a second.
$1,500. Take the $1,500 and off at the sale barn, their insurance and handling fees and all the other stuff. So I am going to take the $1,500 and I'm going to take $25 off per head for any type of fees at the sale barn. So I'm going to go 25 times 80 is $2,000 plus our $1,500 is $3,500.
All right. So there's that. Now I just had to get your numbers. They were freaking me out a little bit. So there's that. So you could talk about, okay, so where does this commission cost come in? This commission cost probably fit in better up here. Okay, and again, I'll just probably leave it as total commission costs, but you could also, if you knew a better cost per head that way, I mean, you kind of guessed at it, but if you knew a better cost per head, a person could also do it that way, right? So then here you'd have total costs, and of course that's just the sum of these guys, which theoretically is what you got, I hope. Well, you haven't finished writing it out yet.
For those, by his
Okay,
30.
so you did 15,500 somewhere in there. Oh, because that's right, because you forgot to add your $400 on. Ha! But anyway, there it is. So then if you grab these two guys, again, I would just bold them like that, and then I'd make them bigger so they kind of pop. Oops, that's too much. Okay. Anyway, so they pop. If this happens, it doesn't mean Kim Kardashian, by the way. It just means that this is too big a number. So you just click up here and drag it over, and then it'll fit a little bit more. Boom, there's your number. So then here's your total revenue, and you just went with total revenue, so I'm just going to go with total revenue too, total revenue. And then again, I'm just going to grab those two dudes and bold the snot out of it. Boom. And again, Kim Kardashian's going on there. And so then the total profit, right, total profit is just the difference in those. So you just click on equals this guy minus this guy. And we match, but for that $400, right? So I feel pretty good about that. 2, 3, 4. Oops, one too many. There we go. And then if I want the cost per acre, why didn't I just go equals, or I should say cost per acre rather. So stop it. Go away. Leave me alone. All right. Profit per acre. Then I'm just going to take this guy divided by 35, which is over here somewhere. And again, if you decide to change how many acres you have or whatever, you can kind of come back at it that way. And voila. And it kind of just pops a little bit better. The idea being is that now, anytime you change the acres, or you change the price of the beans, or you change what you're purchasing them for, all this stuff updates. And it's so much nicer than having to go through and recalculate every single thing every single time.
5 acres
Let's see if we
was
still
given
agree on
for
the
the
end.
calves.
So you said 471. I said 460. That's because you forgot the extra $400. Okay. Again, it's just for what it's worth. I just think this is, I used it the same way you did too, in terms of, I could do it. I could push the pencil back and forth and do whatever I want. But the nice thing about doing it this way is that now it's what we call dynamic. Everything will change and update as you change the things that matter. Okay, and clearly the amount of acres, the projected yield, the projected cost to sell, the projected weight when they're sold, this thing right here, the price per head when they sell, all that stuff is subject to big time change, right? Fuel costs sometimes, and so all those things can be taken into account. But just one change of one cell, everything will update. Okay, so that's just kind of a nice way for what it's worth to you.